So I'm going to be showing a few examples now. The first one I want to show is the kind of sort of product data kind of examples. First couple. So I'm going to sort of start by I'll kick off a run, which is what we call a kind of iteration of a flow. And then I'm going to just explain what's happening. So in this run, in this kind of flow, it's all about getting product data when you have minimal available data. So in this example, we've just got like the product name available to us. Suppliers maybe are not providing enough information for a customer to write their product descriptions. So based on just minimal product data, image name, brand name, and item number is all we've got here. Let's start that running. And I'm going to focus on a few things in this flow. So this is the flow editor and also the screen where we can like run a flow and go and sort of debug and see what's happening after a flow has happened. This flow here has got it's looking at the product inputs I gave it. So I gave it a product name, product ID. I could have given it some images. And it's figuring out if that's a fashion product or a tech product. In this case, with the first little agent in this flow. So it's basically kind of an agentic flow with different parts broken down. It's then doing some product research. So it's basically researching using the internet to look for additional information about that product. Obviously, anyone can kind of do that. But we then got an additional agent which is doing attribution specific to tech. So this is where a customer's said, well, we need attribution for this product, but we actually need very specific attribution depending on category. So a tech product, there may even be more granular than this, but in this case, it's tech versus fashion. In a tech product, the attributes I want are obviously related to tech, things like screen size and processor and things like that. Fashion attribution is totally different. That's going to be related to length of the dress and fasteners and things like that. So I'll just show the results of this, then I'm going to go back and show kind of how it worked. So at the end of this flow, a product description has been written out using the customer's kind of product description guidelines, where it's kind of bulleted out the attributes at the bottom. But in this view, we can go back and kind of see what actually happened, how it got to that. So the previous few steps, so we can see it figured out it was a tech product, not a fashion product. Research agent searched the internet and identified product information. But to ensure we're getting not just like all the product information, but only the bits the customer's interested in, the next part of the flow has actually ensured that it's returning that in a kind of JSON format, which is according to the customer's kind of requirements. This flow is kind of all about the actual fields. This is going to look a bit techie, but essentially we're defining the fields that the customer wants in their attribution and ensuring only those fields are supplied and that they are all supplied. So this is kind of what the attribution flow is doing. Customers' content teams won't need to be like using this screen though. So we've got a human review as a kind of first class feature. So as we're talking about a kind of enterprise scale, customers' content teams just want to be very quickly checking that content, approving or rejecting it. So we have a review dashboard where those kind of reviews are showing up. So you can see our kind of tech product descriptions showed up here. Content teams can come in, check the content. They can even edit it here if there are things they're not happy with it and kind of approve or reject. And once approved and rejected, the workflow will continue and maybe push that data into their PIM or into their CMS, depending on what it is. The interesting thing about that was the kind of JSON structured output. So this is actually a new feature we've just added in, whereas rather than having to kind of ask an LLM to give me some JSON, we were actually able to take advantage of JSON schema and tell the LLM you must return the data in this exact JSON format, which is kind of a new feature in some of the LLMs we're able to take advantage of. And for this attribution use case, it's very important.